Yep, 53 verse 12.
Okay, bet.
I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, so he shall share it with them. Because why? Why is this happening? Because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many and makes intercession for the transgressors. So this explicitly says he died, right?
No.
What does pour out your soul to death mean? What is death? What does it mean for your life to reach death?
Pour out your life means that you have life. Pour out your
and
life.
You poured it out. What does to pour out mean?
That it's still there, dude. That it
but
comes
if you
close
pour it
to
out
death.
to what?
That it
pour
comes close to death. It comes close to death.
Goodbye, bro.
Hi, amazing viewers. Welcome back to this channel. On this episode of our debate between Godlogic and Muslims, on this episode, the Muslim struggles to accept the clear prophecy about Jesus. Let's watch this video to get more amazing and fascinating details. See you at the end of this video.
Okay, what's up, bro? How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for asking.
We talked before. You remember?
Unfortunately, I don't exactly. Sorry.
We talked about did God? We said did God make you Christian, or did Allah make you Christian?
Okay.
You know what? So I read about that a little bit, and I was seeing that in Isaiah 53 and Psalms 22. I was reading through both of those passages because, as a Muslim, we do believe the Messiah, right? And we also believe that it's possible, quite possible, that he was predicted in the Old Testament, right? And so I read through those to see if I can see it from like an unbiased lens. And what I've concluded, and you can disagree with me, you will disagree with me, is that it seemed like the crucifixion itself was not prophesied. But it does seem like there would be somebody who would come that would get, tormented and tortured. But it almost says that he will be saved from it in both Psalms 22 and Isaiah 53, that he would be saved from it and he wouldn't actually pass away. So to me, that was actually, sorry, go ahead.
Isaiah 53, bro, literally says that his soul was a guilt offering and that he, in his death, bore the sins of many. That's literally what Isaiah 53 says. It literally says he died.
I hear you. It did say something like that, but it also said that he will prolong his life.
Right. So if the person dies and then yet his life is prolonged, what does that tell you?
I know, but it almost seemed like before he died, he asked for saving and then his life was prolonged.
Well,
I don't know. That's how I read it.
Yeah, no, because so verse 8 literally says he's cut off from the land of the living. And then in verse 10, it says that the Lord, so he's cut off from the land of the living, which means he's not in the land of the living anymore. He's dead. And then, but hold on, watch this. Verse 10 says that the Lord was pleased to crush him and to use his soul as an offering for guilt, as a guilt offering. And then it says that he will prolong his days.
Yeah. Okay.
So after he dies, it says the Lord will prolong his days. How can someone's days be prolonged after he has already died?
Yeah. Okay. But I got to pull it up. But I think that the way I read it was that he didn't die, and he came close to it, but he didn't die. But I want to read it. Can I pull it up right now?
Yeah. Well, it sounds. Yeah. Are you driving or?
I just parked. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's pull it up. It literally says he died. Like 3 times in the whole chapter. He says he died. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Let me pull it up. But I always appreciate talking to you, dude, because at least you're level-headed. You're not going to be disrespectful towards my belief. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to towards your belief, too. At the end of the day, we all trying to do the right thing, dude.
They go. That's right, man. That's right. All right.
You said, all right. So let me see. So I'm over here on 8, right? By oppression and judgment he was taken away, yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living for the transgression of my people. Now, for me, that's not enough so far. To cut off from the land of the living doesn't mean you died, in my opinion.
But that literally means you died. That literally,
I know, but in my opinion, it doesn't.
based on what?
Because if I read this in a poem somewhere, to me it wouldn't be like, oh, he died. It would just mean that he was like outcasted or isolated.
I think that you're reading that as a Muslim, because I think anyone who reads I've never met anyone who read this and doesn't think, oh, being cut off from the land of the living, oh, it doesn't mean you die. You're still alive.
No, but if you want to do literal, Godlogic, if you want to do literal, then you can't explain prolong his days. Because if you
I can.
But prolong means it never ends.
So you're right. So if he dies, and then after he dies, his life is prolonged, what is that? It's called the resurrection.
But
he came back alive again, and his days have been prolonged. He's never going to die again. That's what the resurrection is.
If you want to look at it from a literal perspective, you would not use the word prolong to extend something.
Let's get to it, bro, because let's at least establish that he died. Let's at least establish that, okay?
Okay.
So we got cut off from the land of the living. Now you're saying that's iffy. I think it's pretty clear, but you're saying it's iffy. It's not enough, okay? No worries. Go to verse 10.
Yeah, yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life an offering for sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days.
All right, boom. So the Lord made his life an offering for sin.
Okay.
Is that not, that's a sacrifice, right?
It could be that it could have been a sacrifice. I still don't see the death part.
Dog, come on, brother.
No,
come on. Come on, man. I mean, luckily we have a few more passages that explicitly say it. I mean, I think this is explicit enough, but dog, come on. So at least this is what we have here. We have 2 times cut off from the land of the living, and his life being a sin offering. What do you know what a sin offering is in the Bible?
I mean, you can offer up your life as you know it and as a sacrifice.
No, as the doc. We're talking about the Bible. We're not eisegeting, meaning we're not going to read into the text our own thoughts. We're talking about the text. We're going to let the text speak for itself. Do you know what a sin offering is?
A sin offering? No, tell me.
Okay. A sin offering, and you'll find this in the Torah, right? In Leviticus, Deuteronomy, right? This is where you find this stuff. A sin offering is when you bring a lamb or a bull and you unalive it and offer it as a sin offering on the altar. Okay? So this just saying that.
Let me ask you on this same topic. When Isaac was offered was made a sacrificial offering, he didn't die either. So what's the verbiage used?
He was going to be a sacrifice, but God stopped him.
I know. You're right. He was going to be a sacrifice, but he never did. So I'm just asking, what is the verbiage? I know. I'm just saying, what is the verbiage used there? If we can find out the verbiage used there, then we can relate it. Because if they're using the same verbiage there, then you can see that God might use that verbiage.
This is the verbiage that you'll see when Isaac asks, "So where's the lamb, Father?" When he's talking to Abraham. Abraham responds
before the switch.
I know. I'm telling you. So before the switch, Isaac asks, "Where's the lamb? Where's the sacrifice? Where's the lamb?" Abraham responds and says, "Don't worry. The Lord will provide the lamb. The Lord will provide the lamb." How can you relate that to this? Because Jesus is literally called here in Isaiah 53. He is literally called, if you go to, what is that, verse 7. Verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth, like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is before his shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. So Isaiah 53 calls the servant here who's given his life or sacrificing himself for suffering, the lamb that is being slaughtered, right? John also says the same thing, John the Baptist. He also says, "This is he," talking to Jesus. "This is he who I talked about. the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. So how is the verbiage connected with Abraham and Isaac? Abraham tells Isaac, God is going to provide the lamb.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what God did. Verse 10, it was the will of the Lord to crush him and cause him to suffer, and to make his life a sin offering. The Messiah is the lamb here.
Bro, I hear how you're connecting the dots, dude. I'm saying that before. I guess I got to look it up myself. I was just hoping you can tell me when the initial command was made that Abraham should take his son and sacrifice him. What was the verbiage used?
Genesis 20. I don't know how this helps you, bro. But Genesis 22:1, he says, "Offer me your son." If you want to go to that, we can go to that.
Because then it just shows that an offering doesn't equal death.
Was Isaac offered to God?
Well, you just said he said to offer his son. I didn't use that
But
word.
was he though?
In the end, no.
Okay, so he wasn't an offering
But the
because he
word
wasn't given in
used,
death.
the
The offering to God is death, bro.
but the word used was an offering. You just tried to make it seem like offering.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. We're just gonna stick to what Isaiah 53 says, because honestly, bro, you're a Muslim, and you really don't want it to be that he died here. We have two instances where he dies. We have where he literally says he's giving as a sin offering, where his life is given as a sin offering. There's no way around that.
That's fine. But in 22 Psalms, I also read that.
Wait, stay here, because I want to show you this.
But we're not going to agree here. So let's go to 22 Psalms.
Well, I'm going to show you something that if you don't agree here, then I have to just wave my hands up. I have to put my hands up and just give you over to yourself, because you're arguing, you're seeing this through a Muslim lens, and you don't want to see the truth of it. At this point.
I do.
Okay, if you do, then just listen to this.
No,
okay?
because listen, bro, I talked to Bearded Image, man, and I'm
Well, you're talking to me now, bro. You're talking to me now.
No,
So
I'm
watch
saying
what
that I told him that I would look at it with an open mind, dude, and I did.
Good. So right here, this is what it says here in verse 12. It's in verse
53, you talking about?
Yep, 53 verse 12.
Okay, bet. What about it?
It says, "Therefore I will divide him a portion with the many." So this is after he prolonged his days, after he died. "I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong." So he shall share it with them. Because why? Why is this happening? Because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many and makes intercession for the transgressors. So this explicitly says he died, right?
Hold on, man. Let me read it. "Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong." He will divide the spoils with the strong because he poured out his life onto death. No.
Know what?
Why wouldn't it just say he died if he died, dude? If God knew this was going to be confusing, why wouldn't he just say he died?
Everybody in the chat, put a 1 if this is easy. Hold on. Just let me ask the people listening. Hey, chat, put a 1 in the comment section if this is easy to understand. Put a 2 if it's difficult. If you don't understand what cut from the land of the living means, if you don't understand what offering your life as a sin offering means, if you don't know what pour out your life to death means, put a 1 if it's easy to understand. Put a 2 if it's difficult, if you just don't get it.
I'm just saying, man, a lot of this is some sort of poetic symbolism. But anyway.
So what does pour out your soul to death means? What is death? What does it mean for your life to reach death?
Pour out your life means that you have life. Pour out your life.
You poured it out. What does to pour out mean?
That it's still there, dude. That it
but
comes
if you
close
pour it
to
out
death.
to what?
That it
pour
comes
out
close to death. It comes close to death.
Goodbye, bro.
Hold on, man. Why you got?
That's why. Absolute idiot. Sorry, bro. You lied to Bear, by the way. You lied to him. You told Bear you was gonna look at with an open heart, an open mind, and you didn't. You're absolutely dishonest. You're absolutely intellectually hindered. But here's the thing: you're not stupid. I know you're not stupid. I talk to people. You're not stupid. You're not a dummy. But because you are a Muslim, you cannot be honest with the text. Because once you're honest with it, you have to admit that God himself revealed through prophecy that the Messiah dies and is raised again to life, which would prove the Quran to be false and Muhammad a false prophet, since he goes against the very words of God that he revealed. Islam makes you a liar. Islam makes you dishonest. It makes you tarded-re. Islam makes you tarded-re. I'm sorry. That's what this religion does to you. To a person like that, as cool as he is, chill as he is, because he's a Muslim, he's tarded-re when it comes to reading the text. Because it's only because he's a Muslim. All of a sudden, he doesn't know what cut off from the land of the living means. All of a sudden, we don't know what a sin offering is when your life is offered up as a sin offering and the Lord takes it. All of a sudden, we don't know what it means that your soul is poured out to death. We don't know what that means all of a sudden as a Muslim because you're tarded. That's the only way I can explain it. An honest Muslim is an ex-Muslim. An honest Muslim, and I'm going to die saying this because this will never not be the truth. It'll never not be the truth. An honest Muslim is an ex-Muslim, bro. You cannot be a Muslim and remain honest. As we clearly see day in and day out with these live streams. They're tarded-re. Day in, day out. You guys see it every day that I'm live on YouTube, TikTok, wherever I am. You see it with these conversations, how dishonest the person is who claims to be a Muslim. I can't get over it. I know it is crazy. It's crazy, bro. But it's that spirit, man. That spirit of the Antichrist is tough. The spirit of the Antichrist is strong, man. It's a stronghold. It's a stronghold. These are clear examples of people who I know they're alive. They're able to drive. They have their license. They've graduated high school. Some of them graduated college. They work every day. They're able to move through life with common sense, with thinking. So I know that these people are not actually dumb. I know they're not. They're spiritually dumb. They are spiritually tarded-re, spiritually deceased. Their spirits are dead. These people are educated according to worldly standards. Smart people, very well educated, spiritually dumb, spiritually deceased. Dead. Oh, how do you do it? Seriously, Muslims. How I said it earlier. I try to put myself in Muslim shoes, but my feet are too big. They don't fit. I just can't. I cannot do it. I try my best sometimes to see it from the Muslim perspective and put like the Muslim brain onto mine, but it doesn't exist. They don't have it. I can't do it. The inside of myself, whenever I try, like I get a headache, you know? I get a headache for trying to think that as small as that. I get a headache. It hurts. It hurts trying to put myself like in their position. It hurts. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they live like that. I don't. I do not know how they think like that. No, don't be sorry for me. I'm good. I have the Lord. I'm under the grace of God.
Alright, welcome back, guys. I believe that was an amazing one and you were able to learn something new. Let us know what you were able to learn in the comment section. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, your family. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. The Muslim guy acknowledged the possibility of the Messiah being predicted in the Old Testament, which to me, to some extent, he is being honest, which is unlike Muslims' behavior. But he believes that Psalm 22 and Isaiah 53 suggest Jesus was saved from death rather than actual dying. The truth is that there is no prolongment of life after death except there is resurrection after death. So if Jesus resurrected, it means that his life has been prolonged. Somebody who is dead, his life cannot be prolonged. So there is no two ways about that except you're trying to be dishonest. The phrase cut off from the land of the living is discussed with Godlogic, asserting it means death, right? Which is very clear and it is very obvious that it is clearly talking about someone dying. the Muslim guy tried to suggest it could mean exile or separation. The question is, separation from what? The Bible clearly says land of the living. This realm is the land of the living, but as usual, a Muslim is always a Muslim, and the guy is being dishonest in this aspect because within himself he knows that what the Bible is talking about death on this realm. So if he is trying to tell us otherwise, it means that he is being dishonest. The lies of Satan to deceive the Muslim to eternal death is stronger to them than accepting God's truth to eternal life. The urge to dismiss logic and plain sense is deeply embedded in them, to deny at all costs the birth, death, and resurrection of Christ. And I can tell you that it is so emotionally draining every day to defend utter stupidity in the face of plain facts. You cannot see an obvious fact and still try to deny it even when it is plain before your sight. This is the height of dishonesty. So guys, I believe that was an amazing one. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video as well. We'll see you in the next episode.